You're listening to the ESO Network, your station for all things geek.
Hello, and welcome again to the Monster Sci-Fi Show. I'm your host, The Monster, and...
Here I am. I'm Mr. Gene, and I'm here for a second week in a row. Well, how is that possible?
It depends on which week you listen to this shit.
That's a good point.
But it seems like it's the exact same week, just different day. Just everything seems all the same.
But we got to see a movie this week, or last week.
Twice.
Yes.
Because we got a free pass to see the Suicide Squad, which I got super excited. And I was like telling you, Gene, go, make no plans. We're going to go see this. That was last Thursday. A week before, it was going to be released on HBOMax. Why did I know that? Because James Gunn told me I could get a free movie pass on Instagram. So I got super excited. And we went to go. I took the afternoon off because from where we are in Miami, we had to travel up to Aventura, which is like about 30 miles away. But because they didn't know how big the crowd was going to be,
we went early.
And, you know, not to dispute anything, we got there on time. There was a line, but that was to be expected. We got there with there was enough people there that, okay, we're guaranteed to get in. So I'm not worried about that.
How was your movie-going experience, Monty?
Okay, let's just say this. It was nice to go to see a movie in a full house.
I didn't think so, but I kind of like the COVID thing, a little spaced out. You don't hear people say, "Oh, he died. He was my favorite." Over and over again. I'm like, bitch, what is wrong with you?
Shut up. I get it. Which is always going to be the case. But you wouldn't do that in like the Infinity War movie or Endgame. You knew everyone there knows the proper etiquette. Shut your fucking mouth. And then sigh when someone dies at the appropriate time.
Or gasp. Oh,
Loki.
Not Spider-Man.
No, he doesn't feel well.
Wait, Black Panther 2? Wait. Not the Scarlet Witch.
But here we are.
We should do spoilers. This is a spoiler.
Obviously.
Good, yeah. We're just going to spoil it if you...
And I think we have to do a couple of different topics for this conversation. But I will say, right off the bat, this is something that we're going to have to agree to disagree.
Yeah, I agree.
To that.
But you're the DC closet boy.
I'm not a closet. I'm not in the closet anymore. I've been.
DC must succeed. DC must beat Marvel. It's not going to happen.
I mean, it's always me as the underdog. You know, growing up, it's not the Yankees living in the Bronx. It's the Mets. It was never me having the Atari. It was me having the Intellivision. So it wasn't me having my favorite team, the Giants. It was the Jets. So again, going with the losers or the underdogs, DC is very much like that going in.
And it's going to stay that way.
And
for the foreseeable future.
Again, before this movie even started, I thought James Gunn, Guardians of the Galaxy, the first one, fucking brilliant, and we're going to get him. We're getting him on my side now. Fuck Marvel. And now after I watch this movie, fuck DC, because I'm like, really? I am so fucking disappointed with this movie.
And I was okay with it. Because I don't care that much about it. I know all the characters. I am super fanboy-y, but I'm like, no, that was about what it was supposed to be. It's called the Suicide Squad. They're supposed to die.
And in fairness, it does what it's supposed to do, but there were choices in this movie which we'll get into.
Unfortunate choices.
That we're given like free reign to do this, in which that'll be a different discussion.
They gave him carte blanche. Whatever you want to do, you just can't do Batman.
Yeah. So
we got a boy working on Batman.
So, but we'll hold that. We'll put a pin in that. But the overall tone of the movie, I think, soured me from the very beginning, and I'm like, the whole animal cruelty. Even though yes, it is a CG fucking bird that we see at the very beginning, but Savant killing the bird with the ball that he bounces around in the prison cell was not a thing that I was expecting. I get it that he's a bad guy, and this is the thing you want to show. You don't tell that he's a bad guy. He's a bad guy because he's...
Well, you show it. You show it.
That's what you do. And I get that. Just like in a war movie, and you want to do an anti-war movie, you make it really fucking brutal.
Right.
And gory.
Right.
To show that this is what you're against. You don't cover it up and talk. So you want to have that be a showcase. So going back after the fact, that's what you do. You show, don't tell.
So opening sequence of this movie immediately turned you off.
Turned me off.
And yeah, shields up.
Yeah.
But you weren't ready. You didn't put your shields up. Not completely.
Right.
You still went in like, okay, there's a team. They're storming the beach.
So we get, Weasel, who jumps out that no one cleared the fact that he can't swim. And I'm like, okay. So he dies, supposedly.
The thing that bothered me at the end of it, like, wait, at the end of it, spoiler, after credit scene, he's still alive, and he gets up and he walks away. I'm like, but wait, he's killed 27 children. But, okay. It's fine. Bad guys.
Right. That's what they do. Like Harley Quinn said in the first Suicide Squad, when she broke the window display and she stole the purse. It's like, what? We're bad guys. That's what we do. And I still love that line because it's just...
Delivery is great.
Yeah.
It's fine. It makes sense.
Right. But here, the cannon fodder, so to speak, of them all dying pretty much early on.
In very gory and unpleasant ways.
Pete Davidson being one of them right off the bat, getting his face blown off literally. And I'm like, holy shit. That was brutal.
I don't like Pete Davidson. But I was okay with that.
But I appreciate Pete because I saw before this the King of Staten Island just because I want to see what he can do. He didn't really have a whole lot to do anyway, so don't worry about it. If you never saw that.
He gets locked up next to a werewolf and freaks out. Hooray!
Yeah,
good for you.
Which is not a werewolf. It's just...
I know. It's whatever weasel is.
But the whole thing after that, it's just... Okay, so there's a second team, which is...
Your main team.
Right. Which is the team that we're going to be focusing on anyway, that Amanda Waller wanted to have.
Right. Harley Quinn and Rick Flag are on Team A or Team 1, and of course they managed to regroup.
But that's the other thing. I don't think Rick Flag or Harley Quinn knew going in that they were going to be sacrificed.
They didn't. But it's the strongest survive.
Right. It's more like an illusion. So I would be more pissed with Amanda knowing that if Rick Flag was your guy, you didn't clue him in that they were going to be all sacrificed, including
But that's
him.
the whole Suicide Squad thing. All of them are expendable.
No, I know. But again, that he's not the criminal.
I got it. But in the narrative of the film,
soldier
right,
guy,
yeah.
So that's the thing. I'm like, really? You're going to fuck him over like that? Considering what you did to the first one. And again, which is weird. Let's talk about the fact that this is not really supposed to be a sequel, but it is. It's not a reboot, but it kind of is. You kind of redeem his character, Rick Flag, being better in this version of Suicide Squad as opposed to the first one.
I think when they killed Jai Courtney, Captain Boomerang, I'm like, oh shit, okay, they're really doing this. They're doing the whole Joss Whedon. I want to have a main character in the opening credits and then kill them in the first 20 minutes, which is exactly what this does.
Right. But if you never saw the first one, you don't know who that is. Then I don't care.
But it doesn't matter.
Right.
They're D-list celebrities anyway, or D-list characters anyway,
right.
Not celebrities, but people.
But that's the thing that I kind of like from the first one is that they were still connected to the DC universe because we saw Batman, we saw the Flash.
That was, and you had better characters,
right,
that you kind of knew about,
right. So I kind of missed the continuity, but here it's its own thing. It's its own universe. There is a mention of Bloodshot. The reason why he's in jail is because he shot
Superman with a kryptonite bullet and put him in the ICU.
Yeah. And I'm like,
Ooh.
but didn't Batman do far worse? Like beat the living shit out of him, almost killed him with a kryptonite spear.
Or put
try to
put an explosive in a man's pants and push him over the pants and then push him over the edge. Okay, that's Burton, but whatever. Sorry.
Even with that not being connected to the rest of the DCEU, I was still kind of on board, but I'm like, it's kind of hard to kind of get myself situated because you're not feeling kind of easy about anything. Like you're supposed to feel uneasy, like anyone's going to be expendable.
Right. Anyone could die.
Right. But in fairness, certain people are not going to die.
Yes.
Idris Elba's not going to die.
Margot Robbie's not going to die.
She's definitely not going to die, only because of Justice League, because she dies in Batman's arms and tells that line to him to kill the Joker, but to do it slowly.
Yeah. Okay.
So that's the only reason why I know she's okay. So if you never saw the end credit of Justice League, the Joker scene with Jared.
Yeah, I got it. But I didn't see the scene with Harley Quinn telling.
No, it was Batman just telling him. Joker,
oh, right. Harley told me. Right. Okay, got it. That's right. Okay.
And promise me, I will fucking kill you.
Great. Hey.
So from that point on, all right, we got that. Now, as far as the thing that James Gunn does well is introduce characters to us and kind of make us feel like we know them. And I didn't know Ratcatcher 2. I knew very little of Polka Dot Man.
Mm-hmm.
King Shark I knew from the CW show.
Right, but this is just like Guardians of the Galaxy. You didn't know them either.
Right. But here's the thing. I grew to like everybody. Here, not so much.
You don't have time.
No, right. Well, considering it's over 2 hours and 20 minutes. Something
2 hours and 12 minutes, I think.
Something like that. It was pretty long enough. But after a while, to me, what was just kind of odd was just, it was too gory. Even by my standards, it was like, enough is enough, because it's like, when I look at the first Suicide Squad, which was a PG-13 movie, yes, it's a lot of shooting, a lot of killing, but it's not so blatant. Like, they tone down the blood and the ripping apart of the carnage and all that. Here, it was like, yeah, fuck it. It's an armed movie. It's going to be gory.
I don't think it was too gory. It was just dark. Overly dark. I mean, like, again, in the past, let's say the Starro character.
Yeah.
In the past, you could survive a Starro attack. He gets you on the face. You're okay. We kill Starro. It falls off. What happened? I have no idea.
Right.
But in this, no. They latch onto you. You're dead.
Yeah.
You didn't have to do that, Mr. Gunn, but you chose to do that. When Rick Flag finally meets his end in his fight with Peacemaker, that's fine. He gets stabbed with a piece of ceramic in his heart. I did not need to be inside of his chest and see the piece of ceramic pierce the heart. I was like...
And then the blood spurting out.
That really was not necessary. I get that's how you want to stylize it, but it's too dark for, I think, DC.
Yeah. Which is odd. You think you want to move away from the darkness, right? Because that was the whole problem that DC was going in, that everything is so damn dark. So when you have the first Suicide Squad, it's a 180 degrees opposite way, but yet here we are, we're going back the exact same direction, which was...
I don't know. I think it was, for me, I was okay with it because I wasn't expecting anything.
Right.
And again, after the darkness of Zack Snyder's universe where Superman broods and, it's a symbol for hope, but the dialogue is not hopeful. The stuff that happens in the movie is not hopeful.
Right.
Holly Hunter turning around the jar of Granny's lemonade is not happened before she's blown up. But this was just, you didn't have to go that hard.
Right.
It could have been a lot gentler. We could have laughed at it or felt it was deserved. This was just like brutal gore just for the sake of it.
Right. Now imagine in Guardians of the Galaxy 2 with Yondu killing all the Marauders with
the whistling
non-stop
arrow.
And people just falling.
But it was artistic.
Right. That's what I could have gone
cool.
with. I would have gone with
a
that.
nice music thing in the background.
I could have gone with that. But here it's like, no, we're going to see bodies crushed and wow.
I think that you can compare the beach scene, although this is a gross, it's like comparing art. It's art. It's all art. But the opening scene, I think, of Suicide Squad kind of looks to me a little bit like Saving Private Ryan. First 20 minutes of that is really...
You can argue that that's what they were going with.
This war is brutal, but that had a point. This had... All right, they're just going to fail, and we're going to watch them. All these celebrities, Nathan Fillion, Jai Courtney, Because Pete Davidson, they're all dead in the first
Right.
opening volley of the movie.
The mission that the second team is on, they find an encampment that they're told to take out with extreme prejudice. So it became a killing contest between Bloodsport and Peacemaker, which it's kind of funny because it literally is like, how can I kill this guy
In the most artistic way,
Right.
yeah.
So even then,
And you laughed at that.
I laughed
and
at it.
then you realized the darkness of
right, because I'm like, oh wait,
they were friends. What
Right,
are you
they were the good guys, and I fucking like, oh fuck.
It's the regret. Just like, I laughed. I feel bad.
Right, because there is no redeeming way to say, oops, my bad. It's not like saying that we're bad guys. That's what we do. But there's no line that can make this all right.
There's no light. The characters in the movie were killed.
Right. So when I went back the second time, and you said you caught that too, that Waller said, kill them with extreme prejudice. That's what they did. So I'm like, okay, I'm all right with that.
Did you like Rick Flagg's line about, when we take down Jotunheim, the palace is going to be open. You and your people could go over there. I'm just saying.
Well, again, it goes back to him being a better character overall. It
in this movie than the other.
Yeah, because at least it wasn't so much that, he's the guy who had all the controls for everyone's time bomb to make him important. He's kind of
he didn't have that in this one.
No, not at all. It's all Waller. So that was weird because you would think Waller would have had that all along. But whatever. So from that point on, we get the Thinker, which I'm like, the only reason why I know the Thinker is because from the Flash that we saw on the CW, I'm like, okay, Peter Capaldi should be
sure.
Let's go with it.
Do your exposition.
Yeah, and I'm like,
and then get killed. Whatever.
And I'm like, but no, it didn't work for me because it's just a little too out there. That for him to have all the bolts sticking out of his head to be too normal. Granted,
could have been anyone. You could have put anyone in there.
Right. So it was just, whatever. So from that point on, we get the climax scene where it's Starro taken out to town. And
we're just going to that. Huh? The whole Harley Quinn thing doesn't matter to you.
I don't even want to talk about that because it just seems weird.
It was an ensemble movie without Harley Quinn through most of it.
Yeah.
Did you not like the transitions?
The moment that
8 minutes later, 5 minutes before, whatever.
No, I didn't care for that at all. I mean, it's fine for what he was trying to accomplish. I get that, but my thing is the sequence in which Harley Quinn gets out of whatever prison, right? She kills all the people.
It was nice. That was a nice 4-minute sequence.
Back
too gory. Instead of going black and white like in Quentin Tarantino's,
exactly.
She shoots out flowers. Everything,
right.
And there's even animated fucking birds in the
right. That's what I want to see more of. Doesn't mean that every character has to do that, but the more creativity like that, that's what I was kind of hoping that he would have done a little bit more stylized. Like King Shark, him eating people, it's fine. The fact that he's chomping on someone's head, like at one point, and I'm like, it's adorable. And I'm like, come on.
Oh, can my action figure come with a head that he can chew on?
So I'm like, again, he has certain points and it comes together. Ratcatcher 2, her thing with her storyline. The second time I'm watching her talk about even the rats have a place in life, so do we, and I'm like, I got that connection the second time around. But again, as a movie itself, it doesn't really gel to the point that it's like, it feels like they're a family at the end of all this. I'm like, I don't really.
They're not a family. The only people that made a promise was Ratcatcher said, you're going to get out alive,
right,
and Bloodsport, I'll get you out alive. Right. Congratulations, you did that? That's great.
Right. And then there was one nice moment in which Bloodsport was petting the rat.
Sebastian.
Which is, like you said, it's Rocket
and Drax.
By Drax.
Yeah.
So, it's that kind of moments that, again, little touches that I love, but it's not enough for me as an overall movie to say, I love this movie as better than the first one.
You will not rewatch this movie very often, but I think the darkness in it, overall, it'll hold together better with time, I think. Because, again, if you look at it from the context of these are all forgettable criminals that don't matter.
Right.
That have this mission, and they're all expendable. It doesn't matter. I mean, it was a different take. I didn't like the way that Waller's team were just. I do not believe that you would be allowed to bet openly allowed to bet in front of Waller.
I kind of went with that. But even Waller was like, what the fuck are you guys doing? And I'm like, nothing. We're having a meeting. I'm like, I get
it too, but I'm like, no, but she killed the people last time. Her entire team.
Right.
She just shot them in cold blood. I was like, this is not the same idea of this character.
Right. So I would love to have seen a little bit more of Waller's backstory, but I'm like, it's okay.
It's fine.
But again, the what I thought was looking at the original Suicide Squad versus this Suicide Squad, the comparative between Bloodshot and Deadshot is like Deadshot had a better story with his daughter.
Yeah.
This one just felt like, that's my dad. And like, she just happens to be watching TV and like.
Yeah. Where was that? You're just with a whole bunch of girls watching TV. Like, that's my dad. I'm like, wait, weren't you supposed to be in juvie?
Yeah, something like that.
Like, whatever.
So it's whatever, man. It's just, it didn't work for me in that sense. Now, is the Harlequin from the first one better than the second one? The first one is better.
I agree.
Only because of the extended cut. Because when you see her transition, she makes the choice to become like the Joker. Unlike the comic, which I read for the movie, Joker pushes her off into the vat. Mm-hmm. And even though he goes after her and saves her, this one is a little different because she chooses to, and she falls in herself. But then Joker makes that like, oh, and just goes in after her. But then that moment that they come out of the vat and then the colors are bleeding out, I'm like, oh
that's
my
a beautiful
God,
shot.
It's beautiful. It is still like, wow. I love those moments. I love the beginning little silhouettes of them being dressed up in the classic motif of the Harlequin court jester outfit and him in tuxedo. Beautiful stuff. So there is stuff that I appreciate a lot more in the first one, and there's stuff that you can appreciate in the second one. But I'm not going to put this in my category of I have to buy this on DVD.
No, I won't buy it either. But I think that this film, the 2021 film, was far superior to the Air. Although Air did have the other interactions with the superheroes, which made it feel more of the DCU.
Right.
Again, but with what you're going with this, these are not memorable supervillains. They're not even supervillains. They're just fucking villains.
Right.
You know what I mean? The detachable kid. Why would you send him into this battle? He has no superpowers. He's vulnerable to bullets. Of course he's going to get shot to pieces.
Which I thought was hysterical. That all he could do is just to touch his arms,
just
slap people around.
Yeah, I'm just like.
But then they start shooting in the arms, and then he's like writhering in the ground, and I'm like, that's kind of funny. Mongol, whatever. I don't know what the hell that is.
I think she's related to Starfire's race. I don't know, something weird. It doesn't matter. You can look it up if you want to, but you don't want to.
No, at this point, I really don't care. Because all it is like they were meant to die. They were meant to be as a distraction, and that's all there was. So the question that I want to ask you, when we look at James Gunn, who was given carte blanche to do this movie.
And no studio interference at all.
Right. Same thing with Patty Jenkins. She fought to have the movie that she wanted to done that way.
Yeah.
Then we have Zack Snyder, whose movie was kind of taken away from him. Mm-hmm. Joss Whedon came in, did what he did, recut it the way he thought, and that fucked up. But then we get the Snyder cut, which is his vision, brought back to the small screen, unfortunately, but done in a very fresh and fulfilling way to see Justice League finally come together. Small win, but I'll take it.
Yeah.
Now, I don't understand what's the difference, because if you give the director that you trust full reign, I don't know why I didn't feel like this movie that James Gunn did worked for me. Or for Patty Jenkins doing Wonder Woman, why that didn't work either. But for Zack's stuff, it did. So I don't know.
I think maybe it's hunger. You know, when you're not sure, when you have someone potentially looming over, saying, you know, maybe don't do this. But when you're so confident, when you're like, I just did Wonder Woman, don't tell me anything.
Right.
You know,
remember, you've told me you wanted this kind of ending and it didn't work. So then let me do this. And
I mean, I think what it comes down to is that the whole thing, like the idea is, and I hate to say this, scripts should be done by committee.
Really?
I don't want to say that. I don't like saying that, But at least, I mean, at the very least, if you're going to be doing comic book shit, have some people that wrote the comics. Just, what do you think about this? Here's $5,000. Could you just read the script and give us some suggestions? You know what I mean? Or something. Because again, a movie script, it's supposed to be a basic form of storytelling.
Right.
But again, stylistically, when you're filming things are going to have their own tone. You're going to quantify that with how you set it, how you light it,
right.
the performances that you direct, that you want.
Right. I mean, it's all on you. If that's your vision and that's how you felt like that's the way you want to execute it, that's fine. But if it doesn't pay off, which unfortunately, not to say that the movie was bad because it didn't make enough money.
No, it was bad for you. I enjoyed it.
I know.
I was like, all right.
Right. But overall,
you were devastated. You were just like...
I was.
You were quiet. I was like, Monty, you okay?
Yeah. Like, it felt like I was watching Force Awakens and people were clapping. I'm like... And my daughter's asking me, you didn't like it? It's like, no. I saw this already. But I didn't feel like that. Like, I needed to clap because I was entertained. I wasn't. That first showing really was just like, I'm done. I am done with this fucking movie. I'm done. Because, again, looking forward to something for DC to win, you just shot me in the balls. Because after, and I'm just going a little rant here, but after the CW crossover with
the underwhelming Crisis on Infinite Earth.
Once what that was done.
But the thing is that had moments. That had moments.
I know, but I'm saying everything from that point on afterwards, when Arrow was off the air, I just started to watch The Flash last season just now. I didn't watch it at all this past season. I haven't seen any episodes of Supergirl or Stargirl or Batwoman or Black Lightning. I've just felt so out of touch with DC and the CW or DC EU. Overall, I just felt like, fuck this. Fuck this. I had so much hope for this movie to kind of give me a win. No.
Look, the thing is, again, the fact that you have so many platforms. You have the original platform, comic books, and then you also have the additional media of television and movies. That's an amazing thing, and this shit's still coming out. Right. And you have action figures if you want to buy them, if you approve of what they put on the screen, or the comic books. This is an amazing time to be alive.
It is.
The thing is, the frustration is that these were good stories. Like in the comics, couldn't you just copy and paste that? No, we can't, because it's got to go through someone's head. Some creative genius.
Even then, I mean, Nolan did like variations of different stories and pushed them together in his Batman story.
And did it very well.
Yeah.
Because he's a competent screen director.
Right. And so is James Gunn. But this one, it was just like, I could have done...
Again, I think that this was... I think is fueled by his hubris. Again, he will never get this opportunity again.
No.
Do whatever the hell you want. We hired you. Yeah. We got you back from Marvel. Oh, thank God. Save our franchise. Save our universe. Wrong guy.
Yeah.
Because even now, again, but what a terrible time to have the movie come out.
Yeah.
It's still not fair. The whole situation in our world right now is not fair.
Right.
People are not going to the movies. The Delta variant, the Lambda variant, or there's another variant coming up. This is a terrible time for movies to come out.
Mm-hmm.
Movies are going to be crushed.
Right.
Shang-Chi's going to flop. Everything's going to flop this year, and yet they're still going to diligently come out.
They have to. They can't afford the backlog anymore. But here's a question to you. Remember you said Kevin Feige says to the James Gunn, just make a good movie.
Yes.
Regarding Suicide Squad.
Yes.
Considering what has happened at the box office.
Doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter?
Because he made a fair movie that some people would like, but the people that like it aren't going to see it right away. Mm-hmm. Again, movies, whether you make a good movie or not, depends on the box office.
Right.
People are not going to the box office now. So we have to extrapolate. It doesn't matter if it's good or not. Dune, I'm sure, will be amazing, but it's not going to have the audience.
No, but in that scenario, how would you think?
I mean, this is something that history will decide.
Is he still going to get Guardians of the Galaxy 3?
It's done. He's filming it now.
Okay.
You know what I mean? Whether it will be good or not, I don't know. Because America,
it's kind of like
the world has to heal.
It's like getting Patty Jenkins, you're going to do a Rogue One story. I'm like, but Wonder Woman's not out yet. No, we want you to have this. And then Wonder Woman comes out. I'm like, I don't know.
And yet, you know what? That Rogue One trailer, when she's out there fucking rollerblading, talking about her dad was, I mean, like, I'm sold on this already. Forget Wonder Woman 1984. Go and do this. You know what I mean? Because she's got that experience.
I know. But even then, I was like,
I mean, sometimes random things can happen. And, you know, we have very few competent movie directors.
Right.
You know? And so let them keep trying. You know, it's harder to strike gold now. There's so many things out there.
No, I know. And again, the fight between Marvel and DC has always been a thing that I've always wanted to have. At least the competition bring out the best of both of us.
Do you know what I want to see?
Go.
That would solve the problem. Do a crossover.
There was a mention of that.
What if we should go to Marvel? Like, look, I know this is crazy, but what if?
No, Elseworld. No, what if? No, but there was someone. I don't know if it was Gunn that brought it up, but it was someone that had that weird notion of like, wouldn't it be just kind of crazy if we did a crossover? So if that's the case, who would you pick for DC? Who would you pick for Marvel?
That's easy. The biggest icons, Superman, Spider-Man.
Spider-Man again?
He's the biggest guy they got. And you don't have Wolverine and everyone established yet. And what do you want? You want Deathclaw? You want Deathclaw again? You want a mixture?
No, we're not doing the Amalgam comics. Although, come on, to be fair, they're all right. Because you also have Batman and Hulk.
Yeah, but now you're going back to what was printed.
Right. No, I know. And so was the printed book of Spider-Man and Superman.
I wouldn't mind Iron Man meeting Batman. 2 billionaires, millionaires, whatever.
Yeah.
Talking about tech. That wouldn't be too bad. You know, Batman, like, I don't need a fucking iron suit. I'm in peak physical condition.
Right. Exactly.
Can you fight out of your suit? You know, I don't know. That'd be interesting.
Yeah.
But that would be fun. I would get really excited about that. And even I think that would even excite the fanboy in you.
Oh, fuck yeah. Definitely. But not going to happen.
So what's next for DC? What comes out next in the theaters? Is it Aquaman 2? No, it's Black Adam's in the can, I hear.
Black Adam's done. We'll get that in 2022. I think December.
Shazam 2 is filming, or was
2023. I'm like, all right.
It's over. You don't even care anymore. When it comes out, it comes out. New Titan show. Who cares? New Doom Patrol.
I mean, the last season, Doom Patrol, I was like, okay. First season, fantastic. Brilliant.
Loved the first season.
Unbelievable.
Yet I have not finished season 2 of Doom Patrol.
Yeah, it's a little...
I do watch it with a friend.
I think the problem lies that it lacks from a clear villain for season 2, unlike Mr. Nobody.
We miss Alan Tudyk. Yeah. Yes, I know.
And then with Titans, I think the initial drive of fuck Batman as Robin wants to break out and not be Robin anymore. I mean, his own identity had me at the beginning, but after that first episode of season 2 that we both watched, like, why wasn't this at the end of the first season? Because he just wrapped up everything and didn't feel like an episode that you start off season 2 with.
Again, I think it's very difficult when you have... I think that lies in the hands of the series creator. You didn't have a clear vision, or you didn't have the right vision to get me on board. I still don't think Starfire looks and feels like Starfire.
No,
you know what I mean?
The pictures I saw lately, she looks a little better.
But I'm not going back to it now. You lost me at the season 2 premiere.
I know.
Just like Discovery. Season 3, episode 1.
We'll get to that for another time. We'll talk about Star Trek Discovery for another time.
The darkness. The darkness is winning inside.
Yeah.
Why can I not get quality television?
We'll talk about that in a bit. But I think we're going to be done with this podcast for the Suicide Squad. I can't think of anything.
No, but we Margot Robbie's character and her bimbofication. How like she went... You were smarter than this in Birds of Prey, I thought.
Yeah.
And now you're kind of just ditzy and I don't know. But I think her performance was fine.
Her big action piece was brilliant. I will give that. I haven't seen that in a while.
And I did like the fact that after my last relationship,
Yeah.
I kill anyone with any red flags. And I said to myself, I'd kill anyone. And I like the way she acknowledged, even though that the thing between your legs, it's a crime to kill you. But I'm like, that's funny. That was.
But even then, it was just like,
I think, again, in a few years, you may go back to this movie and watch it again and think, all right, because it's dark. It's just, it's mean unnecessarily.
Right. And that's the problem that
It's got this
I have
meaning that's just like, that's not cool.
Like, I don't mind dark humor. I like when things are like, that's so fucked up that it's funny. I didn't do that with this movie at all.
Well, you couldn't connect with it.
No.
The thing is, from the moment one, you couldn't connect with the whatever it was doing.
Right.
But like in the past, you were cool with this in another universe. Like, I don't know if you saw like Farscape. Farscape, like Scorpius is there. People are dead. He's just shooting dead people.
Right.
People who are like injured. Like, oh, you're not dead yet. Bam, bam. And you're like, oh, that's awesome. But in this, you're like, no, that's not cool. The people, they're just people. Right. You know what I mean? They're just innocent. Oh, they got crushed. You're like, oh, did you really have to do that? You didn't.
Yeah. So, like, for example, the bird situation that happened in the first scene, and then it was played like moments after the first crew got taken out. The bird a
similar bird
starts picking at the remains of Savant's head. I'm like, okay, it's payback-ish. But then there was another scene in which the general had his birds be lit on fire.
Right, which is not cool.
Was not necessary. And I'm like,
but to be fair, I did show this to someone who was
I know
as big a heart as you, and the minute she saw the bird, she went, "Oh, it's okay. It's not a real bird." And she was like, and she was okay with it, even though the blood. She was like, "Oh, I thought he'd kind of lick it," but you know what I mean. But the idea,
right?
Sometimes is offensive. You know what I mean? Like,
right. I don't want to be triggered, but unfortunately, I got triggered to the point that like I got taken out of this movie
early on. Couldn't
get
your way back
and
in.
Throughout the movie. So there was no way to kind of get back in. Again, there are moments that they're like, oh, I like that, but it's not enough for me to say I liked it all the way through.
Okay, so then I have to ask you a question. Give it a rating.
From?
1 to 10, A through F, whatever you want to do.
I'll give it a C.
A C.
A C.
I would give it a B+. Again, it was not bad for me. The thing is, you have to get used to, and you've watched gorier films,
right?
More violent. But maybe it's like, no, the DC universe is precious. It's not quite that. It's just
because I got into the whole dark side or the dark version of the DC that I was like, I'm fine with the collateral damage. That was the thing that people had a problem with, like Superman.
Right. But this is just as bad as Man of Steel. Like, oh no, people are just fucking dying.
Right.
You know,
and I think the difference is that you don't see the people die on screen necessarily, but you see these people die a little bit more closely. And I think that's the difference between
the uncaring, the fact that it takes place in a third world country, that life is cheap here.
Yeah, pretty much.
Life is cheap here, and it could be cheaper.
Yeah. So it's just the matter of the consequences that there's just no recourse. And I get it. These are bad guys.
It would be nice if some hero flew by.
Yeah.
If maybe a cameo of Superman, like going, well, what about, or just to give it a nice coda at the end would have been nice. But no, just villains feeding off villains. And even at the end, Waller gets away. And Bloodsport says, I know we wanted to get this to the press, but at least we got clear.
Right.
But wait, but the United States then still bought Starro down to this world and experimented in this distant place that completely ruined this other town, and yet everyone gets away with it. Mm-hmm. That just leaves you with this unsettling, like,
which is par for course. We do shit that no one gets in trouble, and like the bad guys always win.
Like what's going on currently.
Yeah, exactly. But we ain't talking about anything real here. But in any case, so that's it. Unfortunately, that's our review of the Suicide Squad.
Give it a chance if you want.
Like, again, watch it. I'm not wanting you guys to stop.
Harley Quinn is fine. Yeah. But again, prefer the Harley Quinn on the Harley Show.
Much better.
Much happier. More laughter. Well, more positive feelings.
I mean, it's like the Harley that we saw there going with the R rating because of the language, but it's fucking funny. But
it's in the multiverse, which we have to explain that to people.
Yeah.
Because people still get confused. Even this was like, so wait, the other movie did take place?
I mean, it's the same Waller character, the same Rick Flag, the same Harley Quinn, so you just can't say, well, it's a multiverse. No, it's not. It's the exact same DCEU, but you're just not calling it DCEU. It's Dick. DC. We got Dick. Welcome to the DC Comics, fans. We got Dick. That's what it feels like. Yeah. Where's your hope now, Superman?
It's on your forearm.
It is on my forearm.
Monster has a DC tattoo of
the Superman's
on his forearm.
Yeah, the logo, what do you call that goddamn the glyph? Superman's glyph, which is the S, which stands for hope. But hope stands with an H. Not in my world. Whatever.
I'm just gonna start.
Blink,
Just
blink,
finish.
blink.
Just finish. No idea where you're going. Just
I was
gonna
quoting
leave you in
Man of
silence.
Steel.
Not well, but go ahead.
It's better than you looking at me doing nothing. Not helping. It's like, feed me a line.
From a certain point of view. There we go.
Yeah, now you know that shit. After how many years? All right, folks.
Do the outro. Just
All right. So you can always email me, and Gene will find out eventually. If you're interested, email
someone wants
us.
to kill you. Wait, what?
Dear Mr. Gene. Oh, okay. It's not to me, but it's to the podcast. Okay. And that email is
monstersci-fi.show. Wait, what? My email?
No.
The
Why
show's
would
email.
you?
Why would you want my
What's
email?
the show's email?
monstersci-fi-show.com? Net? Who did?
monstersci-fi show@gmail.com.
Oh, that's right.
Do you not listen to our show?
No, you gave me that so I can get the Hulu and Paramount Plus recently.
Yeah.
I'm saying.
Meanwhile, everyone's going to log into my account. I'm like,
Gene,
Gene, did you buy another fucking movie on my account? No.
did you not? Alien? What did not?
Part 2? Follow me on the various social networks. So thank you for listening to us on the Monster Sci-Fi Show. It's sci-fi.
From a certain point of view.
Pizza. I don't know what that means, but fuck it. Bye.
Hello there. I can see you have great taste in podcasts. Keep your discerning streak going with the Soul Forge podcast. No topic is off limits on the Soul Forge. We talk about life, toys, dating, geekiness, love, nerdiness, sex and dating, TV, movies, and just about anything you can think of. Check out the Soul Forge podcast. soulforgepodcast.com and wherever you find your podcasts. We're everywhere.
Welcome to Dr. Geek's Laboratory.
Dr. Geek here with another reminder that the ESO Network is pro-science and pro-vaccine. We urge you to be a superhero and protect yourself, your family, and your fellow geeks around the world. Don't be fooled by the forces of evil and their anti-science misinformation campaign. Consult the latest CDC guidelines, your doctor, and get the COVID vaccine today.
This has been a broadcast of the ESO Network. Be part of the crew and help support our shows by donating to our ESO Patreon or by shopping at the TeePublic store, which can all be found at www.esonetwork.com. The ESO Network, your station for all things geek.